It appears that some of the voters who helped put Donald Trump back into the White House are reacting poorly after the president released violent insurrectionists back onto the streets. So much for law and order, right? And this is according to a report from NPR, who interviewed several Trump voters, like David Brown of South Carolina, who is an ex-police officer. He was like, yeah, I voted for Trump. But then was like, I'm not good with the whole releasing the insurrectionists. He said, quote, "It was an insurrection because to me, he incited those people. But he let them go. I don't agree with it." Yet you voted for him. Okay. He added, "I believe if the rioters were instructed to do something and they did not follow the officers or the police enforcement rules and follow what they said, they should be serving their time. I think it's pretty much a slap in the face of the law establishment. Everyone else has to serve time. They should also." Well, apparently not if you do a crime that Trump likes on his behalf, because that's what the rioters were doing. Okay. If that happens, he will absolutely, and he showed you this, he will absolutely let you out of prison because he too is a felon. Yes. Wasn't shy about it. Now that said, on the other side, Dan Morrow of Iowa. Now this is a guy who voted for Trump 3 times. So he told NPR in a conversation on Tuesday that, hey, look, I know people who attended the rallies and the peaceful gatherings in Washington on the day of the insurrection. So they were in the crowd. They were not in the actual group of rioters that were inside the Capitol. And says, well, I don't think everyone who was at the Capitol should stay locked up. It's tough to reconcile that, though. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are upset about the Jan 6 people. I can understand it. But if they didn't physically accost a police officer, I have no problem with them. Well, again, they're not exactly the problem. Now, are they? I mean, a lot of the, people were hit with parading or picketing in a public building, right? And didn't actually get prison time. Some of them got probation, things like that. But here's the thing. There were violent insurrectionists that were let out. As the famously liberal Wall Street Journal editorial board, famously lib, right, notes that Trump pardoned people guilty of gruesome assaults on Capitol Police, including with wasp spray, brass knuckles, and electroshock devices. These are the people who make up most of those who actually received the lengthy prison sentences. But now those sentences are over. These people are free. They're on the streets now. Okay? The same board writes, what happened that day is a stain on Mr. Trump's legacy by setting free the cop beaters. Their words, not mine. The president adds another. What, you didn't think he was going to do it? He said he was going to do it. There's more. Deborah Elmore, who voted for Trump back in 2016, said she was sickened when she heard the news. Quote, "I think it's horrifying. It's against everything that this country is supposed to represent. It's against law and order. Those people were found guilty of their crimes." There was another person who had showed up during 2016, who showed up to the riot, voted for Trump, and she was arrested. And later on, she's like, "Oh my God, this was such a dumb idea. I can't believe I did that. I deserve the prison time." She was one of the people that ended up getting pardoned and refused to actually take the pardon because she's like, "I did it. I did this. Why would you try to pardon me?" But once again, Donald Trump is a felon. Okay, people still voted for him. And he said he was going to do this, and that's what he did. Now, NPR spoke to others who, of course, repeated some conspiracy theories. Of course. This was, it's the Democrats' fault. How? Exactly. It was the Democrats' fault. But this is Marianne Peruzzi, who claimed that there was actually no violent Trump supporters. Oh, no, they were the peaceful ones. It was all Antifa and the Democrats. That's what it was. BLM. Wait, what? Are you serious? Yes, she is serious. But again, okay, so if it was a fault of the Democrats, then who was attacking the Capitol? And why then? Because I'm going to get to her quote here. She said it was all a farce. Okay, January 6th. I'm really happy that they are pardoning them. Pardoning who? Again, if it was the, and this is all on video, all right? The Trump supporters beating up police officers, those are the ones being released. But if they were actually Democrats and Antifa, then why would you be happy that they're getting a pardon? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is a weird crackpot theory. Please make it make sense, because is breaking my brain here. All right, the mental hoops that she's having to, jump through, the pretzel logic. All right, that's tying up her brain into a very crusty, something. I don't understand, but we're not done. We're not done though. I mean, we're done with the weird conspiracy theorist person, but criticism. Trump supporting congressmen are speaking up, like Senator Tom Tillis. Okay. He said that he's worried that Trump's pardons could set a precedent that, quote, police officers could potentially be assaulted and there's no consequences. Well, I mean, yeah. He said, also, I think that it raises a legitimate safety question here on Capitol Hill. He then, after that, went on to attack Biden for doing a preemptive pardon for his family. Of course. So not only is Tom Tillis only worried about himself and his own safety, obviously, but also like, all right, I got to ask, why then are you surprised that Donald Trump did what he said he was going to do? He said he was going to pardon the January 6ers, Capitol rioters. So then, if he's true to his word, held to his word, then why would you be against the Biden pardons? Because he said, I'm going to go after Biden's family. I'm going to go after the people that did the January 6th, committee. I'm going to come after them too. So Biden's like, all right, I'm going to pardon you then. Well, it kind of makes those pardons feel a little bit more justified, knowing that Trump has held on to his, his promises of letting violent offenders go and then wanting to come after, his political enemies. Because we know he was going to come for them. We know he was going to try to make them pay simply for being his political opponents or even being related to his political opponents. Okay. Now, more. This is Senator Jerry Moran, Republican from Kansas, saying, it is wrong to pardon individuals convicted of violent crime, especially when many of the victims of their violence were law enforcement officers. All right. Senator Bill Cassidy said it's not right. People who assault police officers, if they do the crime, they should do the time. Now you also had Republicans Lisa Murkowski and Suzanne Collins. They put out statements. They condemned the pardons. Others, of course, apparently share the sentiment, but don't want to be public, don't want to speak out. Okay, Lindsey Graham just like completely dodged any kind of answer on it, refusing to say anything. That said, on the other side, you got people like John Thune, right, who said basically, oh, we're not looking backwards, we're looking forwards. F off. Oh, but the most ridiculous one here is this from Representative Tim Burchett.
Do you agree with President Trump's decision to pardon these violent people and releasing them from jail?
If they were truly violent, no, but do I know that they were? I don't know that.
What do you mean you don't know that? We're showing the footage on the air right now. Congressman, you were there that day.
Oh, I don't know if they were truly violent there. You're watching it right there, right there. These people. My God, man. Okay, but now you've got the International Association of Chiefs of Police and the Fraternal Order of Police that have put out a joint statement saying, when perpetrators of crimes, especially serious crimes, are not held fully accountable, It sends a dangerous message that the consequences for attacking law enforcement are not severe, potentially emboldening others to commit similar acts of violence. And then, of course, the National Association of Police Organizations puts out their own separate statement saying those who commit violent assaults on law enforcement officers should not benefit from a pardon. You know, all of those associations endorsed Donald Trump. Those organizations, that's it. And that's despite the fact that it was actually Democrats that have been funding police, okay, and have all but pulled back on any efforts to try to reform police so that, you know, unarmed Americans, especially black ones, don't get shot like what was happening before, okay? But no, they've given up completely on any sort of police reform and have actually fully funded police. I know, especially passing bills to fund the Capitol Police. And yet these organizations are like, no, we're still going to go with Trump. You know why? Because Republicans give the police even more power to abuse people. That's it. That said, the biggest threat to law enforcement right now actually comes from the right wing. Yeah, the white nationalist militias, the sovereign citizens, the anti-government movements, those are the ones that are putting officers, police, law enforcement in harm's way. And yet, the FBI will barely even acknowledge that there's a problem with, you know, white supremacist movements. Representative Jamie Raskin said that the bureau managers at the FBI have disavowed previously released FBI intelligence reports warning about white supremacy in law enforcement, and stated that they did not consider that the infiltration, okay, of right-wing groups in law enforcement a significant concern. Not only that, but they also don't seem to, you know, think that these white nationalist groups, these militias, or just even the random lone right-wing attackers are a problem. I guess apparently their big problem is, you know, students who wear keffiyeh and say Free Palestine. Okay, that's their major concern. It's pathetic. Pathetic. Look, I got to tell you, we warned them and nobody listened. Of course not. And so, hey, now we're just going to have to sit back because we have no power. Nothing we can do. So we just have to sit back and watch what happens to the people that voted to have leopards eat their face. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.